Time passes and the world changes. These changes can be big or small or take place in varying time frames. And in my experience, big, rapid changes challenged my beliefs the most, and I want to use basketball to demonstrate that. And as a young fan of basketball, I didn't like fouling up three. I thought it was very disruptive to the flow of the game, and it interrupted what I thought of as the free-flowing aspect of basketball. But Steph Curry's rise to stardom and his disruption of the status quo influenced what it was like to plan the end of games for basketball in the NBA. So, to demonstrate and communicate all of my experiences, I want to define what is fouling up three, what it was like to experience the rise of Steph Curry as a Rockets fan who was close to the action, and also what it's like to connect all of these pieces together. And because sports have its own unique, environment and terminology, it's important to make sure that we're on common ground with all the definitions. So I want to define what fouling up three is first. Fouling up three is intentionally violating the rules of basketball to create a stoppage of play. And this way, the way it's normally done is just by draping your arms over everybody or over one player and then just getting them to stop moving. No basketball moves allowed by this foul, but it's a safe way to be doing it. And everybody knows it's going to happen. The foul gets called, and then the play stops. And then the important part of fouling up three is also just having the three-point lead, because then you're not fouling up three if you don't have a three-point lead over the other team. And then this would be done near the last 1 or 2 minutes of the game. And then the disruption of flow really comes from the accumulation of fouls throughout the end of games and throughout the game itself, where fouls get racked up and then these free throw contests ensue because you're trading fouls and the free throws that come from the specific amount of fouls that exceed your typical limits, called the bonus. So now that we know what fouling up three is, it's time to discuss the catalyst of this fouling up three evolution for me, and that is Steph Curry and his rise. So Steph Curry was always an elite three-point shooter, but what really changed is the addition of Steve Kerr as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, the team that Steph Curry is on, in 2015. And what he really unlocked for Steph Curry was the element of movement in his offense, where Steph Curry would move along with the ball. So Steph Curry would move around the court without the ball, and then the other Warriors players would be passing the ball around and then giving Steph Curry an opportunity to shoot a high-quality shot. And that would lead to made threes and highly successful offenses and highly successful teams in general. And this also lined up with a successful Rockets team that I support. And their most notable matchup for me was the 2018 Western Conference Finals, Game 7, where the Rockets unfortunately missed 27 consecutive threes and lost by 9 points. And that also shows the impact of three-point shooting and how it's evolved over time. And now that we know about Steph Curry and fouling up three, it's time to put the two together. And what I really see as, in my experience, the impact of Steph Curry is the elevation of three-point shooting throughout the league for every player in every position. So you start seeing big men shooting threes and extending their positioning beyond the three-point line, making them stretch players. So they'd be a stretch 4 or stretch 5. And then on top of that, other players leveled up their shooting abilities as well. So you'd see players shooting more threes and making higher percentages of them. And then what that did is I wanted to shut that down because I was kind of scared and I'm more wary of three-point shooting at that time because it's gotten better over time, and also the experiences with Steph Curry make me more wary of three-point shooting at the end of games. And this increased probability of making a three makes it easier for me to ascribe and subscribe to fouling up three at the end of games. So now that we know about fouling up three, Steph Curry, and how these things all tie together to my change of beliefs, it's time to go back to, as a fan and as a young fan, I wasn't sure about fouling up three, but this new experience and this new change to basketball that was quick, rapid, and very impactful changed my beliefs. And that's my experience on what happened and how I changed my beliefs. But as a fan, I wasn't a fan of it to start, but Steph Curry's impact changed my beliefs and it got me away from thinking about the aesthetics and disruption element to more of the strategic elements of basketball at the end of games. And this strategy is currently applicable because of my current understanding of basketball. This may or may not be the same over time. And as the world changes, basketball can change as well with strategies, play calling, and even just skill set development amongst the NBA players. Thank you. And here is my keynote outline on my front-facing camera. It's keyword outline. It's not It's mirrored because I'm using a front-facing camera. I also submitted it on Canvas.